It's curious. I've been writing non-fiction books about controversial subjects for many years now, and really from the early 1990s through until 2002 or so, my interest was, could there have been a forgotten episode in human history? Could there be a lost civilization? Was there some gigantic cataclysm for various reasons about 12,500 years ago, which actually obliterated an advanced civilization from the planet and made us into a species with amnesia, where we only remember that episode in myths and in legends. I did a whole series of books on this subject, of which the best known was called Fingerprints of the Gods. And this provoked a furious academic backlash. First of all, there was no such cataclysm ever. I say, what about the end of the Ice Age? No, it wasn't cataclysmic, it was a gradual process. I was very pleased to note, by the way, just in the press this weekend, that scientists around the world are now accepting that there was a horrendous cataclysm around 12,900 years ago. And they think a comet exploded over the Earth, a 3-kilometer comet. This was just in the press this weekend. I'll send you the link, actually. A 3-kilometer comet broke apart and turned and set the whole northern hemisphere afire. That would have been a big enough cataclysm to lose a whole civilization. But the idea of a forgotten episode in human history attracted furious condemnation from archaeologists all around the world. And I had the BBC being persuaded by academic archaeologists to do a really unpleasant documentary about me to show how wrong I was and how I was misleading the public and so on. So I got very used to being attacked by academics and their friends in the media. And that partly has made me a more defensive writer. It's one of the reasons when I came to write Supernatural that I backed it up as much as I could, as solidly as I could, as thoroughly as I could, with the offerings of mainstream academics, because I've found that the more of those I put into my books, the less of this hostile reaction I'm going to get. And oddly enough, perhaps because I did that, or perhaps because the academic community just didn't feel that this was a dangerous enough threat. You see, the thing about Fingerprints of the Gods was it sold 5 million copies around the world. It was a huge hit in many, many countries. And that made the academic community sit up and pay attention to it. Whereas if a book has a lower sales, then even if it's extremely controversial and challenges mainstream theory in lots of ways, possibly the best thing to do is just ignore it from the academic point of view. And I would say that's largely been what has happened with Supernatural. I've not been heavily criticized for it. By and large, it's been ignored.